Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jen, and this is my first official garden vlog of this gardening season for 2025. Now, this garden vlog is a little overdue, but sometimes life just kind of gets in the way, and then you just have to play catch up when you have some time. So I thought I'd show you my cherry blossom trees in full bloom and then have some coffee and move right along to a seedling update. Now, I'd say at this point, most of this stuff is beyond seedling state. In fact, these little bok choys could be eaten where they are right now, but I'm probably still going to go ahead and put them up in the garden. Now, I have a lot of stuff that did really well when I started it in that very first seed starting day that I did back in February. These tomatillos are already starting to bloom, so I'll just pick those flowers off. But then I had to try to reseed some things because I really didn't have very good germination with tomatoes or some of my basil. Now, out of this go round of seed starting again, I did get one more tomato plant. It was a heat master and a few basil plants, but everything else just kind of pooed out. It gave up on me. So I went ahead and took a trip to Lowe's the other day and bought a few things, and I'll show you here in just a second. After I get done picking all of these blooms off of this tomatillo, exactly what I went ahead and picked up from the store. Now this center tray here is mostly things that I got from Lowe's, but this tray on the end is more of those seedlings from my very first attempt at seed starting this year. And I have like one kale plant and some more bok choy and one tomato. I believe this is that Heat Master tomato because it's quite a bit smaller than the rest of the tomatoes that I started. There's some Napa cabbages in this tray as well. And then down along the front is a whole bunch of basil, which will definitely be getting into the ground in this video. Now, when I reseeded that basil, I put more than one seed per hole. I put 2 or 3 in each one just because I thought, well, if only one comes up, no big deal. So I'm going to do my next level best to just very gently separate those to get them in the ground and just have extra plants. Now, I don't have any luck here in Western Kentucky overwintering my herbs outside, so every year I pretty much have to buy herbs again. So I'm going to take advantage of the fact that almost all of my garlic died and turn that center bed in my garden into a herb bed. So I picked up some sage and some rosemary and some thyme and oregano for that bed. And then I also picked up a bunch of hot jalapenos, and some of these I dug around, in the plant display. And I tried to pick the plants that had more than one plant per pot, like this tomato, for example. This is a Cherokee purple, and as you can see, there are 2 plants in this pot. So I know that if I'm patient enough, I can get 2 for 1 for what I paid for those tomato plants. The same goes for this tomato as well. This is a Better Boy, and it has multiple plants in the pot. So I'll just get all those divided up, and if I'm going to pay for tomato plants, I might as well get 2 for 1. It's more bang for your buck. You just have to be really patient. I did pick up one cherry tomato variety, and now it was not the one I wanted. I really enjoy the super sweet 100s. They didn't have any, but they did have this one. It's just a regular old grape tomato, and so I grabbed it. Again, multiple plants in the pot, so I should still get a pretty good tomato payout this year once I get everybody up there and in the ground. Now this dill is very special to me. This was from some seed that I got from my brother-in-law after my sister-in-law passed away. And this seed was about 6 years old, and I didn't think that it was going to grow, but I went ahead and put the seeds in anyway. So it germinated and it shocked me. And my sister-in-law's name was Karen. And so I'm calling that Karen's Big Dill because she would just be so tickled that that dill seed actually germinated. I wanted to give you a quick shot of my chaos yard here. A lot of people grow lawns. I do not. I grow food for the bees, and as you can see, the wildflowers are on spectacular display right now, and I love it. So on to the big garden. I haven't done anything to this garden since we put it to bed at the end of last gardening season. The only thing I did was I came up and I pulled some of the weeds that had popped up here and there around the edges of the beds over, early spring. And I walked around and I did find some volunteers. I think maybe this is a sunflower. I'm not really sure. I'm gonna let it get a little bit bigger and use my plant app to try to see if I can figure out what that is. But I did notice some volunteer tomatoes. One I accidentally pulled up, so I'm just gonna keep my eye out if any more pop up. This is that bed last year that just got completely out of hand with the weeds, the Bermuda grass and stuff. But I have a plan for that bed because it is just too far gone for me to try to pull up all of those rhizomes. It'll just never happen. So I have my little tray of plants here that I'm going to get in the ground. And I decided that the best way to deal with this bed was to just put down plastic. I know it's not really good for the earthworms and for the health of your soil to use plastic everywhere, but for me in this case, I know in about 2 more weeks, this bed would have just been weeds all over again. It was just so far gone to the point that no amount of weed pulling was ever going to get that bed back healthy again. So I'm going to put my tomatoes here this year, and I'm just going to burn or cut holes where I want to put my tomatoes, and then I'm going to put peppers in the front. I have another volunteer here. I think this one might be a sugar snap pea, which is good because I didn't realize I was out of sugar snap pea seeds, and it's getting to be a little late for that. So yeah, we'll just give that one a chance and see what it does. Now you can see my kale here. I planted my kale in a little tiny spinach. This is the first time I've ever gotten spinach to germinate in my house. So I have high hopes. They look really puny there, but after I gave everybody a good water, they sprung back up. And then in this center bed, you can see my few surviving garlics there in the center. And around it on this end of the bed, I have 2 different varieties of basil and sage. And then I put the dill, the rosemary, the thyme, and the oregano at the other end. And fingers crossed, they stay alive through the summer and through the winter and maybe just spread. And this will just always give me fresh herbs here in this bed. That would be lovely. My blackberry bush is popping off, y'all. Last year, it actually gave me blackberries. I planted it early spring last year, and we did get quite a few blackberries off of it, but nothing like this. At this point, I recorded this footage a few days ago, and this whole blackberry bush is just flowers from the tip all the way down the canes. So even though this is only on year 2, I think we're going to be overflowing in blackberries. I can't remember what variety this is. I got it from Gurney's. I just know that it's a thornless variety, and supposedly it's supposed to produce twice a year. So I guess we'll see. This one gave us berries towards the fall last year, and now in spring it's blooming again. So yeah, I might get lucky and get blackberries twice a year. That would be amazing. So we'll just have to keep up with this and see the progress on it. I've never really had any problems with the birds getting into this bush last year, but if they do, I'll just throw some netting over it and try to make sure that I keep the bird feeders full so that they don't have to come over here and peck at the blackberry bush. I still have quite a bit to get done in the garden, but that's all I have for you for right now. So until next time, friends, happy gardening.